Tim, clearly a blowout win for the Lakers, and everyone says this is the response you would want from a championship team. But what was it about Anthony Davis's play that led to this type of response?
I love everything he just said in that interview, because rarely do you hear star players talk about that level of desperation this early in a series. But that's exactly the approach they needed to have. I thought he set the tone. He was just going to be physically overwhelming for the Portland Trail Blazers. He showed all his versatility, but in particular, the way he started the game defensively. This is an incredible play right here. Look at the speed to track Damian Lillard to the rim. That's a layup early in the game. Their best player. That can get you going. Here again, both LeBron and AD just occupy the low post and the front of the rim and just beat them up with their physical power. And then the skill started to take over. I mean, AD was really feeling it tonight from the three-point line. He got into that rhythm. No one's going to come out there and guard him. And then finally the face-up game. The quick one step, gets the contact, gets the finish. I just thought he imposed his will on this game so early and showed you everything that he's capable of doing. Gave you the full package. Tremendous job here, too. Look at the effort. He falls in the corner, gets up, gets the rebound, and it triggers this break. That kind of summed up AD's night for me, and he wasn't going to have any quit in him. He was going to give you everything that he had, and he set the tone for his team. I love their approach tonight. They needed this kind of game, particularly defensively. They're the #1 seed. They didn't really play that well offensively in game one, but they also let their two best players get away from them at a key time. That wasn't going to happen tonight. They took care of that early enough. I love the response that the Lakers showed you in this one, particularly Anthony Davis.
Well, Dame Lillard was that guy for the Blazers in game one of this series, but suffers a dislocated index finger on his left hand. Now, the X-rays legs were negative, so that's good news. Nothing's broken in that finger. But how much of an effect can that have on his shot? It's not his shooting hand, but it is his left hand.
Yeah, and that's one of the most understated injuries when it comes to affecting your shooting. When you hurt something on that offhand, the way that affects you, it can affect the way you catch the ball cleanly. If that is really tender and sore when you go into game three, when you catch it, sometimes that can affect how cleanly you catch it. Certainly going to your left for that step back three-point shot that he loves going in that direction, that could be affected. We're going to have to wait to see what he says after a day of rest, and then by the time you get to game night for game three. But it could be a factor. Also going to the left and finishing at the rim could be a factor. I think for me, it's something that we're going to have to wait and see, because it's a total different level of severity with that type of injury. It can really affect you, or it could be something very, very minor. I want to hear that out of Damian Lillard sometime probably closer to game time for game three. In the meantime, CJ McCollum could pick up the slack. I think he is ready to have one of those CJ McCollum moments. He's been quiet for these two games, but remember what he did last year in Game 7 against Denver. He took over that game. He is capable of doing it. Don't be surprised if CJ McCollum picks up some of the slack for a little bit worn out Damian Lillard right now, to be honest with you, with all he's had to do to carry this team. CJ McCollum could have one of those moments, and he may need to. If they lose game three, they could lose this in 5. That's how important I think game three is to make this potentially a 6 or 7 game series.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.